sport programs, like we have some clubs that we give some balls, that we give some awards, some prizes, so that they will team up and play their games. So we just want to keep them occupied. We have also just to align with the national development goals. We have to align our issues with how the government is trying to put the community and not depending on the government. Like we have the VBUs, the village business units. We need to empower our youth. We give them seeds, we give them the cash so that they will go and do the planting, the growing of vegetables. That's keeping them occupied, and obviously they will get some yields out of that. They will get and earn some finance to support their lives.
I'll talk about the projects that you have just mentioned. You're saying we are equipping them with knowledge, also projects and initiatives to keep them out of the streets. Have you been doing any evaluation to make sure that what you're trying to implement is being successful?
Yeah, thank you so much, Rumpio, on that. I think that's the main issue that we need to consider, especially coming up with initiatives. We have a lot of initiatives that we are coming up with, but the problem is how to evaluate, how to measure the results. Now that's an issue, because we are continuously getting unemployment from even in the marginalized areas. But for now, I think we have so many gardens in our community, in my constituency, that we have given them to the youths, and really they are doing something good. We have a garden from Chumbue Clinic, or Chumbue Primary School. There is a garden there, and they are doing some watermelon project. They are also doing some potato projects, a thing that was even not done before. So we are keeping them occupied.
Let's look at some of the projects, or what can I say, initiatives by the Second Republic. We saw that Dr. Amai even attended Stodaru into a rehabilitation center. What could we possibly do as the rest of Zimbabwe to ensure that, we gather up, we have an all-inclusive approach and come up with such solutions? Because probably 1 or 2, 3 or 4 are not even enough for the nation at large. What could happen right now?
I think that is a very, very brilliant idea. We need to cascade what has been brought by the First Lady down to to our districts, down to the wards, because we have those who are affected by the drugs. So we need to come up with rehabilitation centers everywhere, so that we have to cover. We should not leave anybody behind. Everyone who was affected should be rehabilitated and given a project, just to start a startup project, so that he can do his business, so that he can sustain his life without getting involved in drugs and abuse.
All right, your parting words to the nation. People are watching you right now. What's your message when it comes to drug and substance abuse in just one sentence?
Yeah, I would like to say the youth should abstain from drug abuse, and also they should abstain from criminality. Let's involve ourselves in self-sustenance projects and work very hard for our livelihood.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Rombi.
Wise words there coming through from Honorable Munemo, who is the member of Parliament from Mount Darwin constituency. And thank you so much for joining us. And of course, right now we take you straight into the Augustas to see what the National Assembly have in store for us today.
Madam Speaker, Ma'am, when they arrived, they didn't have the relevant equipment, including cranes, Madam Speaker, Ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank
Order.
you. That is a specific question, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, ma'am. Allow me to thank the honorable member for the question. The issue to deal with road traffic accidents speaks to two ministries. The Ministry of Local Government in terms of the disaster risk reduction aspect, the Ministry of Transport as the authority on all our roads and transport. So I'll answer the aspect that deals with these road traffic accident disasters. Madam Speaker, ma'am, you may want to know that government has capacitated all our 92 local authorities with firefighting equipment to use in situations such as what happened last week on Friday in Chitungwiza, where a road traffic accident called the lives of 17 of our citizens. All local authorities in the urban areas were capacitated with at least 2 fire tenders each local authority. And we want to sit down and ask the local authority responsible in Chitungwiza why its reaction was so slow, and to ask for Harare City Council to come and assist. The issue of responsiveness in terms of time taken is subject to the time that the accident is reported to the responsible authority, in this case to the Civil Protection Department. So you cannot say the ministry failed to respond timelessly. It depends on the time when the incident was reported. And I will have to find out the time that was taken to receive the response and when we went to site. The issue of having cranes on site, it also depends on how the accident was reported. Maybe people just reported to say that there is an accident on Chitungwiza Road at a river bridge without giving the intimate details of how the accident is occurred. So we cannot answer that in that regard. Well, Madam, it's very difficult, but from a Civil Protection Department, I think we are doing, the government is doing extremely well. We respond swiftly. We are aware that in Glenview on Sunday morning, the Glenview Traders Market was gutted by fire. 25% of the people lost their wares. The fire department responded swiftly. The challenge was in accessing the area because people had barricaded the only way which the fire tenders could have moved in. So it delayed the action that they took to stop the fire. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, just a point of clarity.
Proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to find out from the Minister, is he telling us that he has not done an ex post examination of what happened in Chitungwiza 2 weeks after? Is it what he's insinuating?
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, ma'am, the question is, we wanted to find out why the government delayed in responding. Not that after 2 weeks after, what have we done? Have we done an analysis of what happened inside? That was not the question. So I don't think I have a question for what she intends to do, unless she asks the question properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I would like to acknowledge the presence of students and teachers from Kabuyani Primary School in Midlands Province who are seated in the Speaker's Gallery. You are most welcome.
Supplementary, Madam Speaker.
Supplementary, please go ahead.
Thank you. My supplementary question to the Honourable Minister, could the Honourable Minister in his response indicated that he is yet to receive the reports from Chitungwiza local authority on why they took so long. Now I want the Honourable Minister to explain to this august house, what role does your ministry take and do, and how, after how long do you then, your ministry, intervene after any accident has happened? Because 2 weeks down the line, you are yet to get the report.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. Let me thank the Honorable Member for the question. Madam Speaker, ma'am, you are aware that the Department of Civil Protection resides in the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works. And that department is very swift, efficient, and effective in dealing with tragedies as they arise. The Chitungweza road accident, the Department of Civil Protection was there first before everybody else, and the fire tenders which came from Harare were also activated by that department. Whenever there is an accident, we obviously request the local authority to give us a detailed report which could have been given, but it's not yet in my office as the minister, maybe it's with the department. So I cannot at this stage to say we are taking time to receive reports from local authorities. Obviously, local authorities become part of the solution process, and where there were gaps, like the delay in the responsiveness, we then move in and then close those gaps going forward. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable M. Komo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, ma'am. My question is directed to the Minister of Women's Affairs. What measures can be taken to prevent violence and harassment against women in politics?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the Honorable Member for a very important question. I just want to say issues of violence against women, these are issues which the government of Zimbabwe is dealing with at a very high level. There has been commitment and testament to the fact that Zimbabwe as a government is against, or they don't tolerate violence against women. Whether they are women in politics, whether they are women in their communities, whether it's women at their workspaces, government policy is dealing with gender-based violence at any point. Whether it's women in media, you know we've come up with policies and strategies to make sure that women are protected, even at workspaces. Institutions are coming up with sexual harassment policies to just make sure that women are not harassed. In politics, we even have workshops and seminars with political parties to make sure that we promote cohesion and also gender equality and women empowerment within political parties. So there is a lot, and would like, if the Honorable MP has a particular case where a women politician has been violated, I think that would be good to put it in writing, and our legal people will look at it.
Supplementary. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Supplementary, Honorable Karen.
Mashita mubati wechigaro. Ndafunga kuti ndinyatsokuita neorurimi rwaamai. Mubvunzo wandiri kuda kuwedzera ndewekuti munyika muno munotozikanwa kuti kana kazhinji tichitaura nenyaya yetinoti violence inova yataurwa na member of parliament kuti hunga urongwa hupi hungaitwa kubatsiridza mhirishonga inowanika kuvanhu kunyanya vakadzi vari mune zvematongerwo enyika. Chandoda kuwedzeredza ndechekuti, Madam Speaker, madzimai chero muno imo munomu muparliament, Madam Speaker, violence imwe takatoiona ichiitika. Mubvunzo wa MP vabvunza vari kubvunzira kuti zvingaitwa, Madam Speaker, kuitira kuti nhamba yedu yemadzimai anoda kuzopinda mumatongerwo enyika vapinde vasina kutya, nekuti urongwa ihwohwo hukanga husipo, Madam Speaker, madzimai anoita mashoma, Madam Speaker.
May we have order? May we have order in the house? May we have order, please?
So, Madam Speaker, ndaingoda kuti minister vatibatsire kuti urongwa hupi, nekuti hazvingane basa rekuti tinyore kuti kwakaitika kwakati nekuti zvinotozikanwa nyika yose kuti madzimai anoshungurudzwa kunyanya takuenda kuma-election.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Regai tipe Honorable Minister mukana vapindure.
Mazvita mubati wechigaro, Madam Speaker, ndinoda kuti nditende Honorable Karenyi nekubatikana vachibvunzurudza nenyaya dzeviolence kumadzimai vanenge vari mupolitics. Ini ndataura nenyaya yepolisi yenyika, ndataura nemitemo yeZimbabwe. Kuti takatarisa madzimai emuZimbabwe havana kutanga kuita politics iye zvino. Madzimai emuZimbabwe vakatanga kuita politics even in 1896. Mbuya Nehanda vaive mudzimai aita politics. Chimurenga chakarwiwa nemadzimai nevakomana. Saka kana takatarisa nyaya dzemadzimai vanenge vachivioletwa vachida kuti vapinde mupolitics, kunyanya isu ana mai vari mapoliticians, tinofanirwa kunge tiri isu tinosimudza vana tichiita mamentors, tive nemamenti edu kuti politics hadzisiri dheti. Politics kubatikana nekuchengetedza upenyu hwevanhu, kuona kuti vanhu vaunorepresenta vane mahospital here, vane maclinic here, pane zvikoro here. Politics ende madzimai ndo vanonyanya chipo chikurusa. Saka nyaya yeviolence hatitomboidi. Ndingada kutoinzwa kuti uye kuministry kwangu inise mumiriri wemadzimai ose munyika muno. Kana pane madzimai vari kuitirwa violence mupolitics, mitemo iripo yanyaya ye-enforcement yemitemo. Zimbabwe mitemo izere, kana ma-legal practitioners ariko anomirira munhu wese anenge aitirwa violence. Saka ndingakumbire kuti maripoti iwoyo auye tibatsirane nemapurisa, tibatsirane nevamwe vemutemo kuti tione kuti hazviitike, nekuti tinotoda kuti vanasikana vomunyika muno vakawanda vapinde muno. Tine constitution inotaura 50-50, tiri kuda kuona madzimai akawanda muno.
Mazvita henyu mubati wechigaro. Ini supplementary yangu mubati wechigaro iri kuuya paizwi iroro rangotaurwa kunzi mhirishonga. Ini ndoda kuti ndinzwisise kuna minista vadaira zvakanaka, mitemo yakawanda yakanaka, mimwe takatoinzwa pamadhibheti aiitwa mumba muno mune nyaya iyoyi. Asi ndoda kuti ndinzwe kuti ivo minista vari kuzviona sei kubandiko ravo kuti madzimai kana aitwa mhirizhonga amhan'ara hazvina zvazviri kuita, uri kungodzokera kumba mhirizhonga ichingokutevera chete. Saka ipapo ndopatinoda kunzwa kuti minista vari kutopoitwa sei mhirizhonga iri kuramba iri kumusana.
Honorable Minister.
Mazvita mubati wechigaro, Madam Speaker, regai nditende Honorable Nyampinga vataura nyaya dzemhirizhonga. Ndikataura nenyaya yekuti nyaya dzemhirizhonga munyika medu hadzibvumirwe. Nyika iri kuita basa rakawanda, hurumende yabuda nemitemo yakawanda. tine constitution inotaura against mhirizhonga. Ndinoda kuti muzive zvakare kuti president wedu wakaratidza nyaya yecommitment kuti haadi mhirizhonga, vakasaina inonzi high level political compact president wedu for ending violence against women and girls. Saka nyaya yandiri kutaura ndeyekuti mitemo yese iripo, kana paita dambudziko iroro ngariuye yanyaya enforcement, kuti titi apa mutemo polisi hamuna kuita basa renyu, pane mudzimai aitwa violated apa hamuna kuita basa renyu. Ndikafara kuti vanenge vainazvo izvozvo vauye nazvo tosimuka. Ndatenda.
Point of order.
Mazvita, Honorable Minister. May we have order?
Point of order, Madam Speaker. I thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. With regards to the question raised by Honorable Nyampinga and also by Honorable Karen Nkor, what the Honorable members are asking are the practical steps that her ministry has taken to address the incidents of violence against women in politics. And for the record, Madam Speaker, ma'am, in 2023, after the 2023 elections, the Gender Commission, which is presided by her ministry, actually wrote a report to the effect that gender-based violence in politics is a deterrent against women participation. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank Honorable Member for that supplementary question. Madam Speaker, I would again speak to what I've already spoken to. The Ministry of Women Affairs is actually in charge of empowering women. We are looking at gender equality and women empowerment in this country. In looking at empowering women, we're looking at social evils like gender-based violence. How we are dealing with that, first of all, it's awareness of their rights. We have got staff, over 2,000 staff from this ministry, which goes all the way to the ward level. Just a campaign awareness that no one should suffer in silence. Our president says, no place and nobody should be left behind. We have also come up with one-stop centers in the country. The idea of coming up with one-stop centers is to have quick response to gender-based violence. The one-stop centers which we have allows GBV victims to go into under one place where everything is under one roof. The victim-friendly unit is there, the lawyer is there, and also the counselor, because gender-based violence is very traumatic. So these are a lot of other events which we are doing, conscientizing women about our constitution, which is a very women document. These rights are enshrined clearly in section 17, section 80, section 56. So our women need to understand that they are very well protected, and the government is doing all those stops. We have also come up with shelters, so that if you are under an abusive home or you are being violated, you can actually go to these stop centers and report. And there's victim-friendly unit under one stop, so that a woman who is violated don't even have to run all over the place. There is also the Ministry of Justice, which has come up with these areas where you can actually, lawyers can help you pro bono, which is free. You don't have to pay. So these are the steps and many others. And as I said, the president himself has actually showed his commitment by signing that high-level political compact to end violence against women and girls. I thank you.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Supplementary.
New question, Honorable.
Supplementary, Madam Speaker.
Supplementary akwana.
On a true point of order.
3.
Pane 2.
3.
There are only 2 supplementary questions, Madam Speaker. Pane 2. One from Honorable Karenyi and the other one from Honorable Nyampinga. The other one was a point of order. It was not a supplementary question. The one from Honorable Shriyadenga was a point of order. We only have 2 supplementary questions, Madam Speaker.
Honorable.
But need 2 supplementary 2 Shriyadenga. Madam Speaker, with all due respect,
Comrade
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Bakuvire.
Madam Speaker, if you can check with the answer, there are only 2 supplementary questions. There are only 2 supplementary questions, one from Honorable Nyampinga and another one from Honorable Karenyi. The one from Honorable Shriyadenga is a point of order. It was not a supplementary question.
My supplementary 2 ne point of order, 3
Point of order is not a supplementary question. A point of order, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, a point of order is different from a supplementary question. Supplementary question.
Honorable Joupinyu question. Honorable Government Chief Whip.
Maita yenyu Madam Speaker. Ini mvunzo wangu Madam Speaker unoenda ku andiziwa chamudavira kuti public service here. Andiziwa kuti chadairwa newe ku public service here kana kuti woku Ministry of Education. Madam Speaker, pane dambudziko randinoona handizivi kuti hurumende inoti chinyi. Kune vanhu vanenge vari disabled kana kuti vakaremara vanenge vasina zvokuzvibatsira, hurumende yovabatsira vachitsvaka kubatsirwa. Kozouya mumwe unoshinga kuti aende kuchikoro onodzidza oita ticha. Munhu iyeye unenge achitarisirwa kuti arambe achichengetwa nesocial welfare, asi waita shungu dzokuti adzidze. Hurumende ineti chii nokupa mukana wokutanga kuvanhu ivavo kuti vapuwe mabasa. Zvakaita maticha, vangava manesi kana ingaita rimwe basa. Tine maticha vakaremara vakaenda kuzvidzidzo zvokuita maticha, asina nhasi havasati vawana basa. Hurumende inoti chii nokupa mukana vanhu ava wokuti vakwanise kuzvichengeta sezvo vazvisenzera.
Mazvita, Honorable Acting Leader of Government Business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honorable Member for the question. On disabled people and their opportunities for employment, the policy is that the policy is a sensitive policy, that we give preference. And I'm sure in government, all ministries have got that directive to say they have to give preference to disabled people for employment opportunities. And I think it is happening because if you go around ministries, you'll find that there are a lot of disabled people. And there is a department that has been created, coined as wellness department for every ministry. And it looks after those interests to absorb people with disabilities for employment purposes. So if it is not happening as well, we would be very happy to receive that information so that then we can make follow-ups and see how we can assist. Then I also want to delve into the issue of disabled children in schools. The policy in education is inclusive education. Inclusive meaning that those children must be, as far as possible, be absorbed in ordinary schools because they live in communities of people who are able. So they have to be integrated and socialized in that inclusive environment. And government, through the department in the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, offers assistive devices so that for the hearing impaired and so forth, they are assisted. And further to that, there is specialized training to cater for such children, special needs education. And several other teacher training colleges are training teachers in that regard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ma'am. My supplementary question to the Honorable Minister is what monitoring mechanisms are in place to ensure that these companies comply with the inclusive employment policies. And I also wanted to find out from the Minister whether there are incentives or penalties that can encourage the hiring of persons with disabilities. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for the follow-up question. On monitoring mechanisms, the policy is clear, but then sometimes if you don't have specific information, it becomes difficult to make follow-ups. That's why I'm encouraging that if people, the disabled community finds themselves being excluded because of their disability, let's have that information, and we have inspectors right from head office, provincial, district. We have officers who deal with these issues. So it would help us really to get that information so that we can address the problem. Yes, companies sometimes are obscure in terms of what they do and their recruitment policies. But then where it is glaring and we have that information, we'll be happy to come in. On penalties and incentives, I know not of any penalties or incentives, but then there is persuasion to say, as a country, we have to be inclusive. Our national constitution says so, and our consciences, I'm sure, say so. So we would like to call upon everybody who has an opportunity to employ disabled people to do so, because it is in the interest of everyone to assist them so that they can stand on their own and not be looked after by other people. It really enhances their dignity if they are employed. Thank you.
Supplementary.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Supplementary, Honorable Mashonganyika.
Mazvita, Madam Speaker. Mubvunzo wangu wokuwedzera kuna Minister ndewokuti ivo vane urema tiri kuona kumamisha kwatinobva vari kubhadhariswa zvikoro, vamwe vachizotadza kuenda kuchikoro. Hurumende iri kutiwo kudii maringe nekuti vadzidzewo zviri pachena vasingabhadhari? Mazvita.
Mazvita, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for the follow-up question. The policy on social protection really speaks to BIM, for example, in the sense of schools, to say those children must be catered for under the basic education assistance module. And you have school selection committees right at school level, at the local level, village or ward level. You have people who are in that committee who know who is affected, who deserves better, and we expect that the said committee is responsible enough to ensure that disabled children are given preference. And what we do as government for those who are disabled and are in institutions is that for every opportunity we receive money for BIM, for example, we send that money to those schools. We have received so far 2 tranches of 20 million, and all that money has been sent to institutions that cater for disabled children. So the special needs is a critical area that we want school selection committees to make sure they are absorbed into that program. And also as a head office in charge of BEAM, we make sure that every cent that we get, the first priority is to send to special needs schools. I thank you.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Supplementary.
Supplementary, Honorable Nyampinga.
Maita zvenyu mubati wechigaro. Ndandoda kuti ndinzwisisewo nyika inzwisisewo kuna minista kuti pane vana vanenge vane hurema tomboti semuenzaniso havanyatsonzwa vanoenda kuZimsek uko vonoona handizoti anonzi pachishona vonoona audiologist votonzi uyoyo kunzwa kwakoko hakutombokwanisika manzwiro ako level yako hatombokwanisika muzvikoro zvehurumende itotsvaga private school. Saka nandoda ndinzwisise kuti hakuna here zvikoro zvinosvika kufundisa pane vanogumirwa nekunzwa vasinganyatsonzwa vari kunzi endai kuma-private school ivo vachitove murombo wekuguma wokuti haagoni kana kutoendesa mwana wake kunobhadhara kana mari yepagovernment school onzi enda kuprivate school. Saka nangu ndinzwisisewo kuna minister.
Mazvita, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for the follow-up question. The specific example is that of hard of hearing children. Now, Zimsek has got facilities to examine those children. The ministry has got schools that provide tuition for those children, and government supports such children. When I spoke about inclusive education and said we try as much as possible to ensure that children with different types of disabilities are integrated into the ordinary schools, it depends on the severity of the disability and also the availability of tutors to cater for those disabilities. I know, for example, in Bulawayo there is King George. In Mutare, I forget, on the way to Maswingo, on the road to Maswingo, there's also a school that caters for, I visited those schools that cater for disabled children. The specialists in hard of hearing, and Zimsek, even in their papers, how they set their papers, they do cater for those children. And they are allowed even more time in the examination room. And those for Braille are also provided for. So if an officer at Zimsek insinuated in that manner, that is derogatory, and we cannot condone that. So perhaps we could meet and see how we could handle that officer, because it is against the law. We must not discriminate against any form of disability. In fact, if anything, we must be assistive. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. No question, Honorable Chiwota. Honorable Chudua.
Honorable Chiwota. Good afternoon, Madam Speaker.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chiwota.
My question is directed to the Minister of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprise Development. Honorable Speaker, may the Honorable Minister update the House on the effectiveness of current strategy to prevent child marriages in Zimbabwe and outline concrete measures to hold facilitators accountable while addressing underlying socio-economic causes. I saw some.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank Honorable Chiwota for that very important question, where she wanted me to update this august House about the effective measures of making sure that we end child marriage. First of all, I would like to inform the House that Zimbabwe is actually a leader in terms of coming up with policies and laws to end child marriages. It is a source of pride at regional level, at continental level, and global level, the fact that we came up with the Marriages Act, which criminalizes any parent who marries off a child below the age of 18. So in so doing, what is important is we now have the law, and what is important is awareness campaign. So as I told you, the government through my ministry, we have got officers which start from provincial level to the district level to the ward level. The work they are doing is to make sure that everyone understands the fact that you cannot marry off your child, or you cannot be married below the age of 18. So a campaign awareness is ongoing. We have upscaled our engagements with the religious leaders. We have upscaled our engagements with traditional leaders, because we know they are the custodians of our people. So there's a lot of work happening. More to it, government is coming up with all these empowerment programs. It's a whole government approach. When you see the Ministry of Agriculture establishing the business units, village business units, because we know most of the places where child marriages have been happening is actually very poor areas, semi-arid, arid areas. So with all these developments which are coming up with the Second Republic, the presidential bore drilling, it's allowing everyone to be active. And with this mantra, yokuti nyika inovakwa neve nevayo, we are seeing more and more of our people right to the rural areas, to the grassroots area, doing something, participating actively in the economic development around their localities. So we'll continue, the laws are there, but yes, we continue to go down with a campaign awareness. There is also an issue of making sure that where children are married off as young ones, as children, they should be reported. We are making sure that neighbors should not sit back and watch children being married off. That also makes the whole, it's a multi-sectoral approach where the chiefs, the religious leaders, the community leaders, civil leaders in the areas, in the communities are working with everybody. But the empowerment issues are very critical, and we are moving with that to make sure that there is irrigation in most of the arid areas, so that there's always activities for the families to do. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary, Honorable Molokele.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. According to the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, thousands of students, girl children in this country, dropped out of school last year due to pregnancy. Is the ministry making any effort to collaborate with other ministries and the law enforcement agents to follow up on such cases, because they are clearly under statutory rape? We haven't seen thousands of men arraigned in court for statutory rape in this country.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Molokele for that supplementary question. I want to say, as government, we work as it's a whole government approach. We don't just work as Ministry of Women Affairs on our own when it comes to community development, when it comes to dealing with gender equality and women empowerment. We work with the Ministry of Agriculture, we work with the Ministry of Education, because when it comes to issues which affect women to compete adequately with their boy child, for their girl child, there are issues of sanitary ware in schools. We work with women, with also the Ministry of Education, to make sure that children, girl children, are attending school. And I just want to tell this august House, as it stands right now in our country, the biggest percentage of our students at primary and secondary school are girl children. And we are doing everything to make sure, that's why there's feeding programs, to make sure that even in times of hunger, the children will be fed at school. These are all efforts which are being done by the ministry together with social welfare, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, to look at their health. These are all the issues which are being done by a whole government approach to make sure that the girls remain in school and that the girls are not married as children. I thank you.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Point of order, Madam Chair. Madam Speaker, point of order.
Point of order, Honorable Molokele.
Thank you. Speaker, the Honorable Minister answered a different question. I was talking about prosecution because there are thousands of girl children in this country who are falling pregnant. That is prima facie statutory rape. We haven't seen prosecution of the offenders. That's where I want to respond. Is there even an interministerial task force to ensure that those who are impregnating our girl children are arrested and prosecuted? She didn't answer that question. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Speaker. Honorable Molokele came up with a point of order and said the issue which I'm talking about is to keep girls in school, to make sure that they are not married off as children, to also make sure that there is enforcement in terms of making sure the perpetrators are actually prosecuted. These are the issues which our Ministry of Justice are very much alive to, and they're actually making sure that there are courts all over so that these cases can be dealt with and the perpetrators can actually be prosecuted. We work very closely with the Ministry of Justice. As I said, as a Ministry of Women Affairs, we don't just work on ourselves, we work as a whole government approach. And we work also with the Gender Commission. Gender Commission is out there. And as I said, we work as ministry, we have got our officers, and we are very grateful because government has actually given us the tools of trade in terms of cars so that our officers at district level, at ward level, wherever there is a child who is being abused, a child who is being raped or whatever is happening to that family, our officers are readily there and they work with security. They work with the Ministry of Justice. They work also with the ministry, with the Gender Commission to make sure that these people are prosecuted. This is why the laws were put into place. As a country, we want zero tolerance to gender-based violence. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Supplementary,
Honorable. Honorable. Honorable Mugwadi.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. To the extent that you are aware that we don't have a Ministry of Men's Affairs, my question to the Minister is that in related to children being sexually abused and failing to proceed with life or with education, my question to you is that what are measures taken by your ministry to deal with the circumstances and the situations where also women are involved and what are becoming rampant cases of sexual grooming targeting children. I'm sure you are aware about some of those cases, and there's a case that is already making rounds now where a woman who was a maid was caught in circumstances where she was grooming a boy child at that house where she was working to become an underage sexual partner. What are the measures that your ministry is taking to deal with those circumstances and those situations? Of course, fewer as they may be, but they are matters of concern to us as well because we don't have a Ministry of Men's Affairs. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mugwadi. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Mugwadi for that supplementary question. And I think he raised a very critical issue. I think we still have people who think that when we talk of gender equality and women empowerment, we are only looking at women and girls issues alone. When we talk of perpetrators of sexual abuse, it doesn't matter whether it's a she or a he. The act is what is criminal, and it will be dealt with as a criminal act. And as to what is asked, what is that you are doing? Let me say, this year we are talking about Beijing Plus 30. Issues of women empowerment have been talked about more from 1995 when women met in Beijing by women. But we have realized over the years that it is critical to have he for she champions. And I'm very happy because in this house we've got members of parliament who are really very good at articulating the issues of gender equality. So that is what we are doing. We have really upscaled our engagements with men. We want men to understand that when we speak about women empowerment, we are not saying we want to leave men behind. Neither are we saying our boys are not important. We love our men, we love our boys. We are mothers of boys. We are mothers, we are wives of those men. So we love our men, we love our boys. What we are talking about here is looking at the females who have been left behind. We all know that women were double oppressed during colonialism. Oppressed in their homes, oppressed by colonialism. We all know that women were behind in terms of education. This is why we have got the affirmative action. This is why we have got the quota in parliament. Because we are creating a platform where we bring both male and female to come to a 50-50. And so, by so doing, it doesn't mean we are not seeing what is happening where other women are abusing or sexual abuse of women on boys. They are treated as criminals by the law of this country. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Last supplementary question, Honorable Swaswaya.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The 2023-2024 demographic and health survey showed that Mashonaland West is the most affected when it comes to the issue of child marriages and teen pregnancies. I wanted to find out what the ministry is doing to focus on these particular areas where the prevalence rate is high. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Khashwayo for that question. I think what she is asking requires a lot of research, and I'll be happy to bring the statistics to this house of the demographic survey she spoke about. I think it's not Marsh East, rather it's Marsh Central. So I'll be happy to bring a report with the statistics. But what we have seen in our work is where most GBV is happening, where child marriages are happening, are poor areas, arid, very semi-arid, and these are places where we are concentrating as government to make sure that we send our teams there for awareness campaigns. We also are sending our mobiles, one-stop centers, to just allow the people like in Mbire, with our development partners, we move into these areas with mobile one-stop centers to allow the women, the men, to talk about these issues. Because what we want is cohesion in the communities. So I would be happy, Madam Speaker, to bring the demographics to say which areas where we have more of this. But it's poverty. That's why issues of empowerment are very critical to eliminate gender-based violence. Thank you.
Point of privilege, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Point of privilege, Madam Speaker.
Point of privilege?
Yes, thank you.
Not a point of clarity?
It's a point of privilege, but, following from her response.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Can you listen? Thank you. Madam Speaker, yes, the minister is right. It's actually Mashonaland Central. I just made a mistake to say Marsh Central, Marsh West. I wanted to request through you, Madam Speaker, that it might be important, because this question of child marriages is so important, and I think we need to be focusing on it as parliamentarians. It might be important, and I think the Minister has already insinuated that it's possible that she can bring a ministerial statement on this particular question so that we deal with it more comprehensively. Thank you.
I'm sure the Honorable Minister has taken note of that. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's noted. We will have to bring the statistics to the Speaker's House.
Thank
it is
you.
an issue which has got to be dealt with, and as leaders from where we are coming from, we all have to be alive to the statistics. It's actually sad.
Thank you. Honorable Chudua, your question?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. My question is directed to structural development. And my question is on earthquake hazards infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, the seismology infrastructure primarily involves network of seismic stations for monitoring earthquakes. And in Zimbabwe, we have got Bulawayo, Chipinge, Karoi, and Matopos. And sometimes these earthquakes, they are focused on Zambezi Valley and the East African Rift Valley. And I wanted to find out from the Honorable Minister, given that these earth tremors, they cross from Zimbabwe to Mozambique, what is government policy on sharing seismic information with the regional counterparts?
Thank you, Honorable Chudua. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. I want to thank the Member of Parliament for the question. Madam Speaker, ma'am, something escaped my ears in the beginning. If you don't mind, you can repeat the question so that I answer it accordingly. Thank you.
Honorable Chudua.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. I had directed my question to the Minister of Transport because of the infrastructure part. But my question is...
Honorable Chudua, may you speak loudly?
My question is on earthquake hazards infrastructure. Seismology infrastructure primarily involves network of seismic stations for monitoring earthquake areas around Zambezi Valley and the East Africa Rift Valley. And in Zimbabwe, our stations are in Bulawayo, Chipinge, Karoi, and Matopos. But sometimes when these earth tremors happen, they go across boundaries. Like we've got tremors in Zimbabwe going across Mozambique. So I wanted to find out from the Honorable Minister, what's government policy on the sharing of seismic information with our regional counterparts? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. The question asked refers to or touches three ministries: Ministry of Local Government from a disaster risk reduction perspective, the Ministry of Transport as authorities responsible for our roads, bridges, and so on and so forth, the Ministry of Environment, which deals with climate issues. But all these ministries have got sister ministries in the SADC region and beyond. And we share information from time to time. We may want to be aware that the current president of SADC is His Excellency Dr. Emerson Damzo Mnangagwa. And by extension, every minister is the chairman of SADC in his area of purview. Thank you.
Supplementary.
Supplementary, Honorable Shidua.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, ma'am. I just wanted to find out from the Honorable Minister how up to date are our stations, especially in giving early warning systems whenever an earth tremor is detected.
Honorable Minister of Environment.
I would like to thank the honorable member, Madam Speaker. Ma'am. We have equipment that is stationed in those areas. Unfortunately, some of that information is, the equipment is old. We are trying to replace the equipment. We are in the process of replacing some of the equipment, especially the one which is in Harare, at the airport. I'm very sorry.
Honorable Minister, please may you address the chair.
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank Honorable Chitua for the questions that he has asked. It's very important, this question. I remember when I was new in the ministry, we debated to come up with a program of sharing information, which already is being done anyway under the SADC protocols. We share the information, taking into account that our president is the chair of SADC. We are alive to the sharing of information, and will continue to do so. And on equipment, just before the COP15 convention, we were pushing forth and movement of earth during the visit of our people, of our guests. So we are alive to the question, and we are working tirelessly to try and raise funds, to try and source new equipment. And the meteorological services is working day and night. That is the busiest office that I have in the country, in terms of safeguarding your flying, in safeguarding the rainfall patterns in this country, in terms of safeguarding or monitoring of traumas. And for sure, the trauma that happens in the valley along the Victoria Falls, the Zambezi River, it goes up to Cholocho, and it moves right up to Plumtree. That tremor exists, and we are monitoring it every day. So it's a work that we are doing daily, and if it is possible, I can bring a paper to clarify to you the activities that we do as a country. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Supplementary. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Supplementary, Honorable Mshoni.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My supplementary question to the Honorable Minister. The Honorable Minister says that he is alive to the issue that these matters are being dealt within the SADC, existing SADC protocols. I am keen to get it from the Honorable Minister. Which SADC protocol deals with the tremor? I don't know whether we have that protocol.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I was not referring only to traumas. I was referring to the relationship between SADC, Zimbabwe, and the SADC region. I was not specifically referring to this topic that we're talking about, because I expanded further under the SADC protocol and chairmanship of SADC.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. New question, Honorable Nyabani.
Maeta basa vaita basa mubato wechigaro. Mubvunzo wangu uri kuenda kuna minista wanoona nezvekufambwa, kugadzira migwagwa nekutakurwa kwezvinhu.
Honorable Nyabani, taurisai munzweke.
Okay. Mubvunzo wangu uri kuenda kuministry inoona nezvekutakurwa kwezvinhu nekugadzirwa kwemugwagwa. Tichiona zviri kuitika munyika, tsaona dziri kuwanda dzemagonyeti nemabhazi nezvakawanda wanda zvichiparadza vanhu. Hurumende ino urongwa hupi hwokuti vaise zvitima zvinotakura vanhu kuti zvikwanise kutakura vanhu kubva munzvimbo dzinotenderedza Harare. Ndatenda.
Mazvita, Honorable Minister of Transport.
Ndinotenda vanoremekedzwa mutungamiri wedare reparliament. Ndotenda zvakare vanoremekedzwa Honorable Nyabani. Ichokwadi tine kusuwa zvikuru senyika yeZimbabwe tichishungurudzika nekurasika kuri kuitika upenyu mungave mugwagwa yedu, zvinova izvo zvinoisa kunyangwe isu tigere muimba ino panjodzi yekuti patinopinda mugwagwa hapana anoziva kuti anosvika kwaari kuenda here. Ndichitiwo kune vakashayika mutsaona dzemugwagwa, dai mweya yavo yazorora murugare, avo vakakuvara vave nekurapwa nekukasika, vave vanodzokera kunyangwe pamishando yavo yemaoko. Ndoda kutenda kuti iko zvino taona kuti nhau njodzi dzatiri kuona mugwagwa zhinji, mukaona vanotsvakurudza vanotaura kuti 94% inokonzereswa nesu vanhu, zvichireva izvo kuti isu patiri mubishi rekufundisa vanhu kutyaira, vanhu vakutyaira vazhinji vari pasi pezvinodhaka, vamwe vakutyaira vasina hanya, zvichireva izvo kuti patiri kufundisa vanhu tine bandiko ratisiri kubata repfungwa rinova iro rekuti tikasimbaradza kuti dai tagadzirisa nyaya yepfungwa kuti panotyaira munhu hauzive kuti munhu zvii zvaatora zvinoita kuti anga ari pamugwagwa. Saka tikuona kuti ndo dambudziko rataanaro, asi nebandiko redu reTraffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe ticharamba tichimisikidza tichiyambira vanhu kuti tityaire nehanya. Asi zvataurwa kudaro tinoona kuti mugwagwa medu dzimwe dzenguva tingati vanhu vatakurwe nemotokari dzinotakura vanhu vakati wandei, zvinotibatsira nekuti senyika yeZimbabwe tikuona kuti michovha mubayiwa yevanhu ndo yakawanda kupfuura iyo inenge ichipiwa nehurumende. Saka ichokwadi zvataurwa naHonorable Nyabani kuti tiri kuda kushanda pamwe chete. Tine inonzi Mutapa Investment, ndo yakusenza neNational Railways of Zimbabwe, tiri kukurukura nayo kuti tiite chiripo-ripo kumhanya kuvandudza njanji dzedu kuti tinge tiine zvitima zvinofamba kunyangwe mumaguta edu. Saka tarisiro yedu ndeyekuti tinenge tiine chitima chinotenderera munharaunda dzeguta reHarare, zvichireva izvo kuti kunana Chitungwiza, Mabvuku, Norton, zvichireva izvo kuti vanhu vanenge vakusarudza kufamba havo nemotokari dzavo kungave pamaweekends, asi nguva zhinji vachishandisa zvitima. Ndinodzoka zvakare kudare rino kuti zviitike izvi ndimi varidzi vehomwe mukatisimbaradza muchitipawo pamaakunogadzira bhajeti kuti tiwane mari yekutenga zvitima zvakawanda, tingatende zvikuru. Ndinotenda Mazvita.
Honorable Mona Writer there talking about minimizing road carnages and efforts by the government using the Mutapa investments. And of course, he called upon investors to come through and assist Zimbabwe to ensure that there is effective railway transport for Zimbabwe as well. We also heard in that parliamentary session, the National Assembly question and answer session, that the government is making collaborative efforts with stakeholders to make sure that the education sector has the girl child being promoted, getting enough and adequate education without any difficulties faced. And of course, talking about discrimination of women being harassed in several sectors of the industries. So Honorable Mai Mchango has talked about how the government is making efforts ensuring that there is reports that and systems that will help women and the girl child to be protected. So much was discussed in today's today's National Assembly question and answer session. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Rumbidzai Chakanza, and of course from the entire crew behind the scenes, it's goodbye for now.